We are up here in Uppsala, not far from Stockholm, and we spend the day recording some weapons for the upcoming weapon pack.
We have 3 weapons in this pack. We have the Antifa Action 22, which is a kind of lever action, Old West sort of rifle. We have the folding shotgun, as well as the Frost 257. We were there with pole position. They kind of have a very tried and true method. They've been doing this a long time. Guns are a really difficult thing to record. You know, it's an incredibly loud sound source. And the characteristics of the sound also change depending on where you're actually listening to it from. So we had some microphones that were around the shooter, about maybe a meter away. We had some microphones physically attached to the weapon as well to kind of get some of the mechanical elements. We had some microphones that were about 10-15 meters at the side of the shooter as well as some downrange about 50 to 100 meters to kind of get the bullet cracking overhead and the sound of the gunshot going off in the distance. We do that really to kind of get the building blocks that will allow us to kind of design a really impactful sound at the end. The folding rifle, you know, kind of it's a shotgun, it's weighty, and you feel that when you fire it. So we really tried to represent that in the game as well. We really wanted it to sound meaty, we wanted that thump to it. You know, we wanted the world to kind of shake a little bit when you fired that gun. The Frost, that's a more traditional pump action rifle. We went through and just made sure we got, you know, the real satisfying part, in my opinion, which is the actual pumping of each round. The lever action. It was a lot of fun to fire that one and reload it. It was really more fiddly than I expected. There's like a little rod that you have to unscrew, and then you slot each bullet in and put the rod back, and then you know, racking the rifle. You really live your cowboy moment when you're firing that gun. It's fun to see those weapons being fired because you kind of click on what's the satisfying part about firing this weapon, and you want to represent that in the game as well, I think.
With this pack, we wanted to like change things a little bit, like make it a little bit fresh for the players. We wanted to get in the tactile and the manual action aspect of it and see like how players like these different weapons. I think it's always a very good experience to go and try out a weapon in person, what you're working on. And that's such a different experience from watching videos on YouTube. When that 30-06 rifle was shot, like it was such a huge boom, and like the echo could be felt like even after a minute. That was interesting because like YouTube videos don't actually show that. It was just something that like we were with our earphones and we were still like looked at each other and we were like, what? Call of the Wild has been going on for many years. So, and like every year, like the tech also improves and like gets better. Our capabilities and our learnings also keep on increasing. So how do we best incorporate what we know now and like translate that real world experience into the game and give it to our players? The attention that has been given to the animation, the way the weapon handling feels, the amount of smoke that it's giving out, the way the recoil feels like, the texture on it, the details. I really hope that like those things and tiny little details are also like noticed.
The Hunter, it's a game that's very fundamentally grounded in realism. It's become very apparent to me that our fan base really appreciate like authenticity in everything that we do, and audio is no exception from that. You know, the same applies to like animals or even the spaces that we visit. Being in there in person, it definitely made that tangible difference. We're trying to emulate our own experience rather than looking at kind of source material or like recordings of people firing those guns. We actually got to get our hands on the weapons and kind of just really take our time putting every bullet in the gun.
So much love has been put into making these weapons. I really hope that this is something that you'll really enjoy playing.